Welcome back to Quantum Conversations. My name is Sarah, and today my co-host Carrie Bennett and I are going to be making these complex topics of quantum biology and circadian biology understandable to the everyday person. Thank you so much for tuning in. We ask that if you are listening on audio only, that you take a moment to leave us up to a 5-star review. And if you're on YouTube, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It will help to get the show out to more people. And before we jump into today's topic, just a quick reminder to head down to the show notes and check out my free resources as well as Carrie's free resources. We also do have courses on a variety of topics. If you are hoping to dive deeper, Carrie and I both have practitioner courses available as well for anyone who wants to begin to bring these topics to their clients and help them to implement these strategies into their daily lives. So check those out. We also have a co-taught course called Quantum Fertility that is available that allows people and practitioners to work on their fertility using these principles of quantum biology and circadian biology. Again, thank you so much for listening or watching today's show, whichever one you are doing. And let's go ahead and jump into it now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Quantum Conversations. Today, we are going to talk about exclusion zone water, hydration, just a lot of questions that we get in our communities and all the things, right, Carrie?
Yeah, all the things. And part of what prompted this is I'm going over to speak at the water conference in Europe in about a little over a week from now. And I figure when I get back, it would be fun to do another podcast, really diving deep into all the fun water stuff that I've learned and I can share with everyone on this podcast. So we might as well lay a foundation about kind of our paradigm of hydration.
Yeah, because it is different. You know, when you start talking about hydration, everyone has the idea that it's, first of all, the mainstream is just drink enough water. And they're not talking about the quality of water. They're not talking about mineralizing. They're just like water, like pull down the tap, drink your tap water, right? Drink a gallon a day or 8 ounces a day, whatever, 8 glasses a day.
Right.
That's the mainstream view, which we are like, no. And then there's a view that you drink electrolyte powders to rehydrate yourself. And then we have another view of really the optimal way to do it. And then your body holding on to water and actually making water, which is what most people, I would say, miss completely, is the fact that our bodies are meant to make and hold on to water. Yes. And that's really, really important, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I always say that hydration is multifactorial, and the amount of water you need to drink depends on how efficient your mitochondria are at making it. And unfortunately, again, mitochondria make more water when they can burn fat as opposed to when they can burn sugar. But what is it? I think you looked at a tough study more recently than I did. It's something like 90-something or 85% of the population is metabolically inflexible.
93%.
93%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that means that 94% are not efficient at being able to take fat from storage or even fat from the food they eat, really, and transform that into metabolic water by the mitochondria. And so that means there's, again, we say this all the time, there's nuance to it. And so, but I think we should let people know that hydration from my paradigm, from your paradigm, and correct me if I'm wrong, is yes, you do need to drink good quality water, which is, filtered, mineralized, structured, energized. We can talk about all those things. And the extent to which you need to drink that depends. And we'll go over the nuances. And then you need to make sure your mitochondria are efficient at making water, which again has a whole kind of subset of categories that we look at. And then lastly would be, are you taking care of the water that's already inside of you and in its exclusion zone form? And are you keeping it, quote unquote, charged? And why that is absolutely essential and fundamental for health.
Yep, exactly. That's all of it. And I've done videos about it. I know you've done videos about it, but the kind of water we drink, I think spring water is going to be really, really high up there. If you can go collect your water from a spring, I don't know how you feel, but I still think people should test that spring water to make sure it's, because our environment is unfortunately
is real.
There's a lot of pollutants in the environment. So you might be able to get this great spring water, but I would still invest the money if that's something you're going to be drinking regularly in having that tested. Same thing with well water. There's a
Greenfield Water Solutions has some really great they've got great test kits. So
Okay,
that
that's
would
good
be,
to know.
yeah. So
I was just sending people to Amazon.
oh yeah, sure. I mean, that's fine too. I like it though. They've got one, at least they did. I'm going to pull up their website really quickly to make sure they still do. They had one specific to city water and then specific to tap water sorry, to well water.
Nice.
So, it's just, I think they do a very nice job with that.
Very nice.
But yeah, I'll double check that here.
And that's Greenfield Water Solutions. That's Ben Greenfield's dad.
That's Ben Greenfield's dad. Gary Greenfield was the biggest lover water, like, equal to, I'd say myself, those of us who really appreciate water. And so I think he did a very nice job with developing filters and water structurizers and things like that.
Nice. Okay. So that's a resource
Yep.
if people want to test what water they're drinking. So as a baseline, we need to make sure our water is clean because it can actually dehydrate your body to drink water that has a lot of pollutants, a lot of forever chemicals. There's pharmaceuticals in the water that can cause a hydration issue right now because of what it can do to the mitochondria.
100%.
Yeah.
And your body doesn't want to absorb that, right? It starts to recognize that those are toxins. Every time it requests thirst, you're giving it fluoride or you're giving it pharmaceuticals or you're giving it heavy metals. And so it's going to downregulate your thirst mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll also oftentimes just pee it. It'll go right to your kidneys because your body's like, this is not what we want. And so essentially you're not pulling in that hydration.
Exactly. Yeah. So at a base, your water has to be clean. And you may want to test that out if you're just planning on drinking what's in your home or well or spring, any of that, I would test it.
And you and I have all of our product recommendations available, right?
In the show notes, yeah.
Oh, perfect. So there you go. So if you want to see product recommendations and discount codes and things like that, you can, we both have water categories or hydration categories. So
yeah. And I've made a video on my YouTube channel that basically is called Water, What I Drink and What My Family Drinks. And I basically take you through an entire tour of my kitchen to show you the under sink system, the distiller, different hydrogen machines that we have, minerals, like all the different things that we use, the analemma wand. Of course, cool. I've gotten new things since I made that video because I'm always collecting water stuff. But
I am too. It's one of my guilty pleasures. It's like some people it's shoes, us it's
right.
For me, it really is water devices.
It is. We have like this beautiful wine cabinet area. We don't drink. And so I've got like deuterium depleted water shelf, Quinton minerals shelf, this Aquin water that Sarah bought that's like got like gold and silver in it. I still don't understand it, but we have some of that. And yeah, it's a whole thing.
But I mean, it's the funny thing is that you can taste the difference. I can taste the difference.
My husband is like, he finally quit drinking the stevias, like the diet sodas.
Goodness.
He was addicted to those. And since I've been making my water concoctions, he calls it my special brew. He only drinks my special brew now. And he's like, he won't drink water from anywhere else. So I'm like, I finally got the right recipe for him. It's the right recipe for my husband because I finally got him off the crap sodas. So
that's good. No, it's good. That's awesome. So so the water that you drink, we want to filter it. And then I will always recommend remineralizing it because the majority of filters you're going to find are reverse osmosis or distillation filters. You will find some gravity feed filters that can retain appropriate mineral status. And so then but the RO and the distilled, they're going to get rid of everything, the bad stuff and the quote unquote good stuff, the minerals. And again, I don't think distilled water is a toxic. I don't think reverse osmosis is harmful. However,
you don't want that to be the only thing you're drinking.
The body doesn't absorb it in the same way. Clinically speaking, there's a huge difference that I hear when someone takes their reverse osmosis water and starts to add minerals back into it. They have their body actually sometimes starts to crave water again, or they're urinating less frequently. Like if you're drinking water and then peeing every 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it means your body's not absorbing that water. And the minerals give charge to the water that mimics nature because yes, there are minerals in spring water, right? Spring mineral water. And while they might not be the minerals that the body needs to use to optimize all of its activities, because we definitely need earth-based minerals from things like our food, it still helps the body absorb that water better. And that's what the name of the game is. It's to pull that hydration into the blood and allow it to be distributed throughout the body.
Exactly. Yeah. So That's just really important to understand. And there's a lot of people out there now that are talking about, again, the dangers of reverse osmosis, the dangers of distilled water. We don't recommend just drinking that stuff plain, but in all honesty, a lot of the minerals for your body, yes, we can add it back into water and we should add some, but it should also be in your food.
Mm-hmm.
So you really want to be having mineral rich food as well, because that's really important for your health and your hydration as well. So what you're eating is going to play a part in how well your body can, make and hold on to water and deliver hydration appropriately to the cells.
Yeah, totally. And interestingly, I have found, I know you and I talked about this behind the scenes, but I that's why I do love that Beam mineral supplement, because I truly believe that is intracellular minerals, right? That's a fulvic and humic. It's a soil-based mineral supplement. And it is one that, that I've seen really effectively deliver minerals into the cell. And how do I know this? I know it because people who experience symptoms of certain mineral deficiencies, all of a sudden through utilizing that, the symptoms start to go down and go away, and they go away pretty drastically, pretty quickly. Or I notice people who potentially have thyroid issues and they're regrowing hair or their fingernails or their eyebrows or things like that. And so like you realize that this is a very bioavailable mineral and a mineral source. And so it's led me to the conclusion to say that the interior of the cell, that I find that to be really earth-based minerals. When we're talking about the water we drink, and let's say adding in something like quinton or like a sea salt sole drops into water, that I really truly believe supports our ocean-based parts of our body. The bloodstream, the space around the cells, the cerebrospinal fluid, and we need both. It makes sense that our body would need both. And so, I don't think the minerals that we drink really truly impact the mineral status inside the cell so much, but I think they're absolutely needed to actually pull the water into the body to support the blood volume, to support the interstitial fluid.
Yeah, absolutely. So just as a little review for anyone wondering about water, obviously, if you want to do spring or well, test it. Then next phase, if you don't have water that is available for you to drink like that, then I would get I'm partial to distillers. I really love my distiller. That should be in my product guide. And then, or an reverse osmosis system. And then adding in, I do quinton, and I know you like the Beam. I'll do some of Dr. Dean's magnesium drops into our water and the quinton, but I am going to try the Beam to let you know.
Try the Beam and keep me posted. Yeah, I think there's a discount code in my product guide, I believe, for that. So if people want to try it, but it's one of those ones where I also go by taste. The Dr. Dean's magnesium has such a distinct flavor to it.
Oh yeah. If you put too much in it, you're like, oh, wait.
Or if you need it, I start to crave it. I think that's
my husband right now.
Yeah.
I think his magnesium has been low for so long that's why he like craves this water that I'm making. Sure. Like literally we run out and he's like, are you going to make another one? I think he's been really low in magnesium for a long time, honestly. So
what makes you say that? I would say that would be so that's a sign too. I've also heard the same thing with the amount of trace minerals. So for example, this is an Aquavive ionic trace minerals that I have in my guide. This is an ocean-based mineral blend. And I'll have clients who say, well, at first I wanted to add a ton of this to the water. I just needed really saltier water. I might have been needing those minerals for quite some time to pull the water and the hydration in, and then they'll slowly adjust to taste. So I do believe that you can go based on taste, what your body needs, for sure.
I agree.
So
I totally agree. Yeah.
So after then the minerals, we would talk about structuring or energizing the water. And there's different ways to do that, from the analemma wand to vortexing the water to, there's water bottles that will impart structure to the water. Like I have a Blue Bottle Love and Flasca in my guide. Blue bottles.
I love those.
They're great. So so that would be, what's the point? People would be like, well, what's the point of that? And that has to do less with, well, there is some absorption quality to that. But part of that is that when you're absorbing water, you want it to have the correct energy and information in it. In the same way we talk about light as needing to have resonant energy and information, so that's why natural light sends a certain signal to our body, where artificial light from a screen, even though it might be the same brightness, let's put two sources of the same brightness together, it gives a completely different message to the body.
Yeah.
The information is different. And so when you take water, picture taking water that's been pumped through a municipal tap system, that's been, chlorinated and fluoridated and all of that to begin with. Then you actually pump it through a bunch of pipes at right angles, and water doesn't like right angles. It actually creates a destructuring effect to the water, or a devitalizing effect to the water. Water likes to swirl vortex, right? And so then you now will hopefully be filtering it through, let's say, a process like a reverse osmosis or a distiller, which can also kind of destroy the structure in the water. And then that you're giving the body this drink, it's like, here, body, drink this water. The body's like, what the heck has this water been through? Like, this is all the energetic imprints essentially are there from those experiences. And so in order to impart a more coherent energetic structure that the body says, oh, this is energy, this is information I need, this is vital life force in this water. We can talk about how that can get measured. That's what we're looking to do with structuring the water. And that's why we do like the Analemma wand. I like the vortexing devices from I love the Wellness Enterprise. I love MEA. I love Natural Action. I love Greenfield Water. I feel like they all recognize the need for water to either be vortexed or to experience, or to basically come into resonance with something that can structure it. And so there's a lot of great products and great ways to do that. And that also will enhance the body's ability to want to absorb that water.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people really overthink the structuring.
They totally overthink it. Just do it.
It's really like probably a question that I get on a almost daily basis of like, will this structure the water? Will this unstructure the water? I'm like, look, anything that helps you to structure the water, like let's say you just say a prayer or a blessing or intention to your water. If you set that same water next to your Wi-Fi router or inside the fridge around a lot of blue light, it's probably going to come unstructured. If you boil it, it's probably going to come unstructured. If you because people want to know, how long does it stay structured? How long does it take to structure? This is not something that is
instantaneous to structure it, right?
Put it out in the sunlight. It only takes like a second. You don't need to put it out there for hours. And talking with Isabel, she's like, you don't want to leave your water out in the sun all day because it's getting everything that's out there, like a ton of radiation, a ton of you don't know what's going on outside. I got sirens going on. I don't want all of that in my water. I just want a little hit of sunlight, bring it inside, put some intention into it. And you and I both measure, there's like really expensive lab equipment that you can buy to measure structure.
I'd love it at some point to get a GDV camera of my own, but I don't think that's in the budget.
Yeah, maybe one day. Perhaps one day we will build a Quantum Conversations lab.
Ooh, I like how you think.
My mountain property that's off grid.
Sold.
We're putting it out there. All the testing, all the water, all the devices. It'll be lots of fun.
Oh my gosh, it'd be so fun.
Yeah.
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 Totally. We'll just all nerd out together and be like, look at how vitalized this water's become after.
People would come. People would be there.
Plasma discharge. Oh my God.
I feel like it could be a thing.
I think it could. That sounds awesome to me.
Dr. P would come. It would be a thing.
That would be fun.
But we both use Veda Austin's freezing technique, which is literally like $30 if you want to go buy it off of her website.
Please support her. People ask what her technique is, and I always say you have to learn it through her because she's done such.
I don't want to teach it for free because that you can get it $30 off her website. Because I have a whole. I know you have a hydration mastery course. I have a hydration mastery course that shows hydrogen structuring, how to test all these different things. And when it came to testing for structuring, I was like, this is the link to Veda's course. You got to go do it. Yes. I'm not going to, I'll show you examples of all these different things I tested and what that looks like with the freezing technique, but I'm not going to show you how to do it. But that's essentially how we test structuring of water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so, short of getting a lot of really cool lab equipment, I think it's a fabulous, it's just an interesting way to understand how water acts as like a responsive receiver of information.
Yes.
And so I just feel like it made me insanely more aware of my words, my thoughts, my media, and so you just start to realize like, wow, I am 99 out of 100 molecules water. I better, I choose to, keep that water structured with high coherence and energy and information. So,
yeah, I mean, it has transformed my life completely to think about my health in that manner, and what I say or what I allow to even be said to me, or what I'm going to take in, what I'm going to personalize, anything like that. I'm like, nope, deflect, do not accept, canceled. Like I just look at things completely different now because of this whole concept of water and seeing it in plain sight. I always give the example, I know I've talked about it on the show multiple times, of my daughter, us having her hold the Petri dish and me telling her, put in there, put your intention, put your thought into this. And she only held it for 10 seconds, 30 seconds. It was not a long time. We put it in the freezer. And then while it was freezing, we asked her to spell on the letterboard, what was the intention thought that she put into that water? And she said the beach. We pulled it out, took a photo, and it looked like waves. It looked like the ocean. It looked like the beach. And I was like, okay. This is the
thing. So this is a thing. Okay. No. And obviously her thought forms are able to project so beautifully. I love that. I absolutely love that. But it's part of that also then is.
So Carrie, I don't know about you, but I'm doing a couple little trips this summer. And what is the one thing that you're definitely going to be bringing with you on your packing list?
I love portable red light therapy for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Yes. You can't underestimate, honestly, what red light therapy can quote unquote treat or support when you're away from eating something that disagrees with you to your kid falls and scrapes the knee and you want to do a little extra repair and support, to a headache, to an earache, to you name it. And just then as general maintenance, right? Or let's say you're at the beach, you want to precondition your skin, right? All these things. And or
you're traveling on an airplane and you want to kind of offset some of that mitochondrial damage that naturally happen from being in a plane. I know Dr. Sarah brings her this is our Bond Charge Mini, and you can use the code QuantumPod to save on yours, but I know she will just kind of put it with thyroid, right? Because when you're in an airplane, you are exposed to high levels of non-native EMF, and a little panel could be a great way to support your mitochondria to make more exclusion zone water so that there's a little bit of a protective barrier when you're in those high stress environments, right?
Exactly. And then also in a pinch, I'll use that, let's say in a hotel room or something, to turn on a light if I need to, right? It's just in a pinch, it's a really good way, just kind of almost act as a flashlight or illuminate the space at night, if you need to for some reason. So I have found so many uses for that portable red light therapy.
Yep. It's awesome. So if you are interested in one of these, you can use the code QuantumPod. This is by Bond Charge. They are sponsoring the podcast. We really appreciate that. And check them out. There's a link down in the show notes.
I don't know. Developing that relationship with water also helps to support, like you said, my ability to hold an intention.
Yes. I think that's important because people will be like, oh, this is all woo-woo nonsense. If you don't have a relationship with water, if you don't have a relationship with this type of information, you can completely say it's nonsense. But it was double-blind placebo study, Dr. Emoto's work, where people were able to change the structure of the water through intention and thought. That is you can go find that on PubMed. So this is not just woo-woo. This is actual, it has been scientifically proven to be a thing.
The criticism there too, though, is he did handpick certain water crystals. I get that. And he did only allow certain people in his lab to run the experiment. So he wouldn't just let a random person come in because it's all about having a relationship with the water and having intention to so obviously he truly understood the behavior and the nature of water because he was very aware of who he allowed in his laboratory.
Yeah. And Veda's work's been replicated by thousands of people at this point, thousands of people.
Yeah. It's kind of
hard to ignore.
I know it's pretty hard to ignore. And listen, here's my thing too, is my job is not to convince any skeptics.
No.
Like that's fine. If you're, feel free to have skepticism. That's totally fine. Like that's totally cool. And so that it's like, I just have released that, I think, from my energy field a while ago. It's like, my job is not to convince anyone of anything.
Same.
It's to try to share this information to the best of my ability.
To people who want to hear it, to people who are ready to hear it, that are here. And they're like, okay, we are ready. Like, we know that this other stuff is not working.
Yeah.
What do you got? Yeah. I'm ready to hear it. And that's the people we're trying to help. It's that's who we're trying to help. So
you can save your dumbass comment. Like, I'm not saying your comments are dumbass, but the comments that will call us dumbasses, you can save that for a different show. Go elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Not interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after you basically energize the water, I still always think it's a nice practice to just express gratitude whenever you remember, to the water. But that's the point where then that water now is as vital, as revitalized as it can be, and as resonant with your physiology as it can be. And you sip it throughout the day. Mm-hmm. I do not want people chugging water all day long, or chugging big amounts of water at a time, right? It's like little sips spaced out is the way that the body really will start to absorb that water, regulate thirst, regulate the hydration where it needs, sip a little more, do its regulation. So again, if you're maybe drinking this good quality water, but again, peeing all the time, maybe you're drinking just too much of it at a time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And then we have hydrogen also, which is a bonus, because people are like, you don't have to have hydrogen, but it is a bonus. It is something extra that you can add to the water as well.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah. And people are interested. We really talked to a couple of great experts on that when it comes to
Tyler.
Why and what. Tyler, Greg, the Hydrogen Man, had some very interesting insights too. So I would say that if you're interested in learning more about that, yes, go ahead. There, you can add it. You can, according to what let's just run this by. But according to what I've learned from Tyler is that the body breathes out what it doesn't need, and so there's no toxic dose for when you're consuming things like hydrogen-rich water or
that's been a question in my group a lot. How much hydrogen water a day can I drink? I'm like, all your water can be hydrogen. It's not a problem. Like you will pee it out or breathe it out if it's too much. It's not an issue. Yeah. So that's the one where it's just like use what's in your budget, because if you're using tablets, that could be really costly, or try once a day. What do you notice? Try twice a day. That's where I really settled in on when I'm traveling or just not in my general environment. I love 3 tablets of molecular hydrogen spaced throughout the day. I'm traveling. To me, it's just like, ooh, I start to crave it in the same way that every once in a while I'll crave that really magnesium rich water as well. Mm-hmm. And so you just gotta experiment with it to know what works for you. As soon as I'm on the airplane, I'm like, popping hydrogen tablet,
ketone isotonic. I recorded a video for my newsletter about like what do I bring to like a trip overseas. I got like my little goodie bag out that I keep things in, and I think it's like, yes, kind of some obvious stuff, but I don't know about you. I used to think about needing to bring so much more than I do in terms of right. It's like, let me bring this EMF blocking thing, and then I need to make sure I got these 2 types of panels. And now it's just like, here's the essentials, right? This is what I really, truly think my body needs, and the family too. So
I'm looking forward to that video. That'll be a good one to watch. And then I know I'll be sending people to that as well, because people are always asking me about long trips and travel and what to do. And I know Dr. Sarah has made a few videos because she's been trying to hack the travel thing as well. But I did 2 trips this summer, and I hadn't been on a plane since 2019. So I'm not exactly the best person to ask.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring a lot of stuff. I brought this, I brought my little mini Bon Charge panel. Mm-hmm. I brought hydrogen tablets. I brought Quinton ampules, and I think I brought my Analemma wand.
Yep. Those are all on my list.
And blue blockers.
Yep. Of course.
And electrical tape.
Yeah. Those are just givens. And I didn't include in my video that I should have it just wasn't in that little bag, is my sleep mask too.
Oh God, I have the sleep mask and earplugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not high maintenance.
Oh, really? My list is so short. It's just 47 things.
Yeah, my mouth tape. And and my beef tallow lotion. And
oh shoot, I've got to talk about my tallow too. This is a really great tallow that I got for my sister-in-law's wedding. It's this whipped tallow. Have you ever had whipped tallow?
oh yeah, what brand is that?
This is a local brand here, Sarah Jane's. I don't know if she's ready to be inundated with requests. Maybe she is. You can ask her. So, but
Sun and Moo, which Angelica. Do you know Angelica?
I know of Angelica. Yeah.
It's her company. But cool. I buy her whipped tallow.
What's in that whipped tallow?
It's tallow, a couple of like oils, and it's all natural. It's all.
We'll talk about. Well, spoiler alert! Another episode we're recording soon is our updated beauty routine, so we'll talk about it.
Like that's probably going to be like
that's going to play a prominent role into cold water,
red light therapy.
Tallow.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of red light therapy and water, because it's so funny, my brother-in-law this weekend, we had a little birthday party for James, and my brother-in-law and I were kind of hiding because all the kids were just like screaming. It was a lot. It's 3 girls, right? 3 girls and then James. So James and my brother-in-law and I were like hiding, like playing trucks because the girls were just having a lot of drama. And he was like, "What do you know about structured water?" And I was like, oh God, like,
how weird do you want me to get with this conversation?
I'm so excited when he asked me that because I don't force this information on my family. Like my family and I think completely differently about health, like completely different. And that's a whole other conversation and it's hard. But he asked me that question and he was like, because I gave my sister an EMR tech panel, I gave her a fire dragon. He was like, I had this thought that like, what if I set up the fire dragon and I meditated, but then I put some water nearby the fire dragon? Like, would that do anything to the water if I did that? And I was like, let's talk about this.
Yeah. Might not be your ideal structuring.
Yeah, I was like, it's not ideal.
But the meditation for sure. But
yeah, definitely a meditation. But with a red light panel, you don't want to have it right up next. Cause I used to do that. I used to think I would structure my water with the red light therapy panel and I would put the panel, like I would do this
right on top of it.
It's battery operated. So it may not be as bad, but I would just like do that and be like, I'm structuring my water. That was 2021, Sarah, before you,
I remember that.
Before you and Corey gave me a talking to. Like, maybe we should not be promoting this.
It's all good.
Let's talk about why that's not a great technique though. Why?
Well, I mean, beyond that's non-native EMFs. You were using a plugged-in device.
And plugged-in device, battery operated, probably not as much of an issue, but plugged in.
But what are you like? What you were trying to, I think, show was that you had learned that the red and the near infrared can be supportive of exclusion zone water and structure. And so, of course, this is a really concentrated source. So why wouldn't that structure the water? And of course,
it's actually far infrared that expands the exclusion zone.
And it's not the water in the glass that we're looking to build the exclusion. It's the water in the body, which we can go into. But so that's why you're basically putting a lot of non-native EMFs into the water, so that energy into the water. And then it's the far infrared that we want to soak into our body to expand this exclusion zone. So let's go there.
Yes. Because that's what we alluded to in the beginning of the conversation was
right.
Sorry, my son is playing piano right above me. I don't know if you can hear.
Oh, I can't hear it now.
Okay, good. Noise Zoom blockers are fantastic because sometimes it sounds like a horde of like trolls running above me. So what we talked about in the beginning of the episode, yes, what you drink is important, but the other, I would say half. I don't know if you think it's.
I divide it into thirds. Third, what you drink. Third, mitochondrial water. Third, keeping your exclusion zone water strong.
Yes. And so go ahead.
So that exclusion zone water is the water that's inside of our cells and around our cells, lining our blood vessels, lining our lymphatic vessels. Essentially, anywhere there's a biological surface, the water takes on a gel-like consistency that gives it special properties. And so just to highlight what those special properties are, number one, it gives that water a negative charge. And so that's why forever they were trying to understand the source of the negative charge inside of healthy cells. And so they were hypothesizing sodium potassium pumps and all these ion channels and things like that. And they didn't realize that the water itself took on a structure that would hold that charge. So that kind of throws that out of the water, blows that out of the water. And we could talk more about that, but we don't have time today. And so now we know that a healthy cell has enough negative charge. We need exclusion zone water for that negative charge. We need exclusion zone water around the blood vessels to help promote blood flow. So the interior of the blood vessels need to be lined with exclusion zone water, and that in and of itself will take work away from the heart. So while I don't believe the heart is solely a pump, it has a pumping component to it that I think does need to work harder when the body doesn't have its own natural flow pattern happening because the blood vessels are lined with exclusion zone water. And that's Dr. Pollack's lab showed that. The exclusion zone water helps to take the proteins take the correct shape, receptors and proteins, and that is really makes proteins either functional or not functional. They have to be in the correct conformation. And so and that water creates a battery of energy inside of us. It really, truly, and again, we could talk about why, but if just to suffice to say that if you have this adequate exclusion zone water inside, you literally have adequate energy inside of your cells to run all the tasks. Yes. And when you start to drain that exclusion zone water to a certain threshold, these cells start to get the signal to divide uncontrollably, AKA promote cancer or create cancerous cells. So there's so many reasons why we want to maintain exclusion zone water. And it turns out that the far infrared wavelength range of light that we feel as heat is the wavelength range that is most absorbed by this exclusion zone water to keep this, what we call our water battery, charged.
Yes.
And so that's why, and that's essential for all those reasons to be able to do that. And as you know, Sarah, our living environments are very deficient in infrared these days, which is why so many of us are quote unquote charge depleted.
Exactly. And so it's near infrared, which is like what you'd get from a red light therapy panel, is more for subcellular melatonin production, for
and mitochondrial water production.
Yes. So that's supporting step 4 in the mitochondria, which is actually making water, but it's not necessarily going to expand the exclusion zone. That would be more far infrared, which you get from sunlight, which you get from sauna. Where else could someone get a source of far infrared besides like sunlight in a sauna?
Well, you can coach your body to make it efficiently with cold therapy. So your mitochondria have to actually start to make that for you inside of your body. You can also exercise to the extent that you're generating more of your own infrared internally. You can be around a campfire. You can cuddle and kind of basically share infrared back and forth. And so, again, this is kind of my theory, my hypothesis as to why all these things have been shown to be healthy for people is because of the fact that they've got that infrared component to them.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I think a lot of people don't really understand is like these things are health promoting. And I think it is because what it does to the water in the body and helping to maintain cellular hydration, cell health, as you mentioned, that negative charge of the cell, movement of electrons across the mitochondrial membrane, which is going to help us to make water, and ATP, which is like what everyone talks about when it comes to mitochondria, but
not an energy currency.
Is water.
Yeah. I know. So ATP does something important for the cell, but not the energy currency of the cell.
Exactly.
And so then the final component of this would be the water that the mitochondria make. And it's this idea that at step 4 of the electron transport chain, they make water. And there are things in modern living that inhibit that. We now know that blue light in isolation, which we get from all of these different LEDs, phone screens, bulbs, specifically 420 to 450 nanometers, will really start to inhibit mitochondrial activity, including mitochondrial water production at step 4. So
is that because of the retinol that it uncouples from the eye and makes that harmful form of retinol? Do you think that's the mechanism, or is it
I think that's part of it. What they're measuring with when, let's say, they irradiate something like a mouse with it. And here's what's interesting about manipulating mitochondria optically or with light is that it's conserved across species. So you can literally look at what they're doing to a Drosophila, which is a fruit fly, and actually understand what's happening in humans. And so they've done enough research to be like, oh, these effects are conserved across all the species. And so, it really starts to create excessive reactive oxygen species. It can drive apoptosis. Once you get
destroys your DHA, which destroys
the DHA
contained in the eye.
Exactly. It will also inhibit not just step 4, but it'll actually drive those excessive ROS from other parts of the electron transport chain. So there's there's what are called chromophores inside of the electron transport chain. So these are proteins that help the electrons to flow. And all of them, or the vast majority of them, actually do have are strongly receptive for blue light, but they're designed to be receptive to blue light in balance with red, because they also have strong absorption of red and near infrared.
Right.
And so
UV.
Exactly. And so when that's missing, it means when the red is missing and it's just the blue, you really start to dysregulate what's happening with the reactive oxygen species and their activity.
And it's like a danger signal, essentially. Like, because
ultimately excessive ROS will create a danger signal for sure.
Right,
and you combine that with mitochondria being stressed anyways because of toxin exposure, circadian rhythm disruption, non-native EMFs, and it really leads to a recipe of cellular dehydration because because of modern living.
Yes.
And unawareness, not our lack of awareness.
Yeah. And then speaking of the Wi-Fi radiation, what has been shown in Dr. Pollack's lab is this degradation of the exclusion zone, like 15 to 20%. So a loss of that exclusion zone water that, again, surrounds the cells, mitochondria, all these different things in the body goes down 15 to 20% when you're exposing it to Wi-Fi radiation, non-native EMF. And so there's this whole, maybe we need to do an episode on this, because I think it's, God bless him, because I really want him to promote my app. Huberman had this episode recently about AirPods and saying that they weren't dangerous because it's a non-ionizing form of radiation. And they
Did he talk at all about the fact that they debunk? I mean, there's so much information about it, the non-ionizing, non-thermal radiation actually causing. Who paid him off? Shame on you, Huberman.
And then now it's being parroted. Oh my God, it's being parroted all over social media. It's insane. I'm like, oh, I can't even read this. Even if there was any shred of truth to that stuff, which there is not, because there's obviously lots of money being exchanged around this conversation.
He talked to Jack extensively too. I mean, can't imagine what Dr. Cruz is saying. Well, that
conversation didn't really go as well.
I know, but I can't imagine what Dr. Cruz is currently saying about this information that Huberman is putting out.
I'm sure he's not happy about it.
I'm sure he's not happy.
If he's not too distracted by the election right now. Anyway, the whole conversation doesn't even talk about exclusion zone water, doesn't even talk about mitochondria. It's just like non-ionizing radiation is not dangerous. I'm like,
pull up the thousands of studies that show that it is. Someone needs to, can someone please send Dr. Huberman a book called by Arthur Firstenberg called The Invisible Rainbow, and then send him to cellphonetaskforce.org, where they highlight hundreds of studies on non-ionizing radiation and its harmful effects, not only to humans, but to all biological life. I just did, and I think it's already come out, I just did a video all about non-native EMFs and why these are issues. So feel free, that's on my other YouTube, my
some of these comments I see, like, oh, if you are afraid of radiation, don't go out in the sun. Actual comments that someone had. So I was like,
sweet.
If you're afraid of non-native EMF, or if you're afraid of EMF, don't do any grounding. I'm like, because there's this thing called the Schumann resonance. And if you're saying EMF is dangerous, you're also saying the Schumann resonance is dangerous too. I'm like, OMG.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Never mind. I'm not gonna.
Those are like,
I'm not gonna send my energy that way. God bless you.
Is broken. I'm done for the day. I can't.
God bless you. There's more important things to focus on.
Like we said, the people that are ready to hear this information are here. The people that are not, and that want to continue to believe that these things are okay, and it's just like this myopic view of thing, then this show is not for you. My content is not for you. Carrie's content is probably not for you.
No.
We'll be here. We're not going anywhere.
But we'd love it if you would create a YouTube channel, because I'd love to learn your perspective.
Please do create your YouTube channel to express your viewpoints.
What else do we want to say? Yes, run from the sun.
Yes.
But keep those AirPods in.
Yes. And don't do any grounding because it's definitely dangerous. I don't know. I feel like we've covered it pretty well and set up for, I'm excited for you to go to the water conference. I really still wish I could go, but it's just not in the books right now with me and the kids. But yeah, I feel like we talked about water to drink. We've got extra resources. Your channel is a wealth of information. My channel, I've got that kind of tour of my kitchen where you can look at all the stuff that I have. Our product guides are good places to start. Totally. Don't overcomplicate it. This is what, like, we don't have to, this stuff doesn't, you don't have to do it perfect, right? For it to be impactful. And that's the thing I think a lot of people do is overthink. Well, if I do this, does it unstructure the water? If I do this, does it, I'm like,
if you're afraid of something unstructuring the water, say a prayer, put a little love and gratitude into that water and revitalize it that way, right?
Yeah. We can do so many wonderful things through intention and through love. And that's just where I try to go back to at the end of all of my frustrations. And when I look at those types of comments and things, and when I have to be around people like my family that I just completely wholeheartedly disagree with on a whole range of topics and election season and all this stuff, it's been hard, man. Like a lot going on lately. I just go back to love and doing things from that place, because I'm human. So I do have feelings and emotions, but if I can bring myself back to that vibration, the next right thing that I'm supposed to do becomes clear. And I just try to go from that direction. So
agreed.
Don't overstress, don't overthink, go back to that place of love, and think about what makes sense from that place. And I think the answers are going to be a lot more clear. So
well said.
Awesome. All right.